time, people. It's time. We're almost there. So we've got about a half hour to go today. And this is what we're sitting at. Okay. So we have the layout for the Npc Editor. And what I think I'll do is I'll finish this, and then I will well, technically it's done, but the load NPC list, so the only thing I got to do is I have to make the add. Let's just open it up here. So we've got an add NPC button that doesn't do anything. The list is working, so just the dummy data is working. So we're gonna make the command to do the button click and make it generate a new one. And then this automatically updates as we type stuff. So yeah, I think what we'll do, why don't we make this column a little bit shorter and put a save at the bottom. Okay. So so we're gonna need a save dialog box in WPF, which will be interesting because I don't think I've ever done a save dialog box in here. Can't be that difficult. Okay, so let's start off with thinking about the command for the button. So this is going to be called a relay command, and I think, let me go and pull up one of my other projects that I had done. Source repos. Does this have the relay command? Nope. New models, commands. Ah, relay command. Alright. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to do add folder commands, add class, relay command. We go like this. Nope. Public and inherits from I command. What was it? Is there another one that I'm missing? Oh, I command. It's just I command. Alright. And then that. Okay. So if I go and I build this, I will get access to that. So now on my view model, I need, let's get the chat up so I'm not looking at that window. There we are. So we need a command. So a public add NPC. Yeah. What would be one of the newer things? Recipe calculator? So here is an I command. Oh, let's go into here. Nope. And we're going to open up this folder, and we're going to find, search, what is it? Control Shift F? Okay, so we want to look for relay command. Right here. So this is how the command works. Let's just do this. Add NPC, and add NPC, and I want this and this. Now this function is going to be void add new NPC, like that. So this function is going to do that, and I want to go console right line clicked. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to change this command is binding add NPC. That. We're going to run this puppy, and we're going to watch the console log. Okay, it is firing it. So it's firing, but I just can't see the output. Alright, so let's go like this. Enemy, no, NPC, okay. I must have deleted that. No. NPC is going to be a new NPC template. And then I want to go NPC ID is equal to NPC templates max NPC ID, and then attack is equal to 0, defense is equal to 0, equal to string empty. And then we're going to NPC templates, add NPC. Okay. breakpoint here. And let's change this. This becomes ID. Here we go. Alright, so there should be none in this list. And try this.
We didn't pack as if we weren't going back. It doesn't matter if it's true. Got a feeling that will give us what we like.
Try this now. And this should not crash. There we go. Alright, so it's empty, and if I click add, we got a breakpoint. So NPC template should have one in it. Okay, good. Okay, so okay, so now we have to figure out why this ID is not populating here. So let's quickly go into our XAML, and we're gonna look up the text block. Let's change this to text box. Yeah. So it's the binding of the text box versus text block issue again. So I want read only true. So you can't actually edit it. Good. Okay. And then we will say this is skeleton. Attack of 1, defense of 1. And then we're gonna add another one. Okay, so right away, one issue is the so when I'm typing this, the index is doing the funky thing when you're adding it. Okay. Okay, so we gotta figure out why that is. Let's oh, I know why. Selected NPC index equals -1. And then what we want to do is we want to go get NPC data. Okay, let's try this. We're going to force it to refresh itself, so it should deselect whatever is in there. We're going to call this skeleton, and we're going to give it 1 1, and then we're going to go add. Okay, so that did not refresh it. Let's try this. Okay, it is triggering it. What if I type now? Ah! Okay, so it's refreshing the names, but it's not refreshing the data. So let's do the NPC names. No, I want the collection. I want to refresh this one because this is going to pull all the names from the collection and redo it. So we're going to set it to none selected, and then we're going to fire a property change event and fire off the NPC name so it regenerates the names. We'll see if that fixes it. And then, so as I click add, it should automatically enter it down. So there goes this one. Okay, it partially works, however, maybe it's just the wrong order. Let's change the name to NPC enemy name. Let's just give it a dummy name so we can see this, and then we'll see if this is actually going to work the way we want. So we're going to add, we got the enemy name. Okay, so now I need to do notify property change name of selected NPC index. I don't think this will work because I think that's a private property. So it doesn't see, the index is wrong. Okay. So can we, what if we not do, actually, you know what? So the selected index, the reason why it's changing it is because I'm ordering it by name. So let us do let's do something else. What if we bind the ID, or here's possibly a better idea. Hi there. So this is I want to make a cool Twitch new type of a game, but I'm making the tools to build the foundations of the game. So right now I'm making an Npc editor. Eventually what's going to happen is the viewers in the channel will become like a player that will auto attack, or they can command it maybe at some point. Maybe we'll do that, and then it's basically going to spawn random enemies, and then eventually bosses that the viewers are going to have to fight and then get rewarded with loot, and it's actually going to have, you know, a loot list like you would have in any other RPG game. But the problem is that I want to make a system for the tool. This isn't the Unity project here. This is the WPF application, and I'm making the item editors, the NPC editor, and the loot table editor, so I can assign a loot table to an NPC, and I can assign the templates to a NPC type of a thing. It's all in the data file. So this is the editors for the actual game. And that way I can use this tool for multiple projects. If I want to do, like, if I want to make a sci-fi version, I could make a science fiction NPC template list and item list, save them as sci-fi inventory or sci-fi NPCs, and then I can load that into that game, and or maybe in the game, you know, this is all just hypothetical, is the way the brain thinks. In the game, the streamer can select a theme, and it will load the items and player ID names based on what they want to play, and so they can choose a game. How that would work if you're switching in the middle of saves, I don't know, because the item IDs won't be the same. So we'll see. We shall see how this is gonna work. So for now, I'm trying to make it so that the button is actually working the way I want. So, because now that I've answered that question, I have now lost my train of thought. So that it's empty. When I click add, it adds it to the list. It won't let me click it because it's the only one in the list and it is automatically selected. So I have to tell the system to deselect the make it think that it hasn't selected anything in the list box. And right now, and you're supposed to be able to do that by telling it that it's -1, and it goes gray. But this nope, not that one. Selected index. Okay, this here. My selected index, I think, is just a one-way. Nope, it is two-way. Okay. Oh. That's why. That works in WinForms. This is not WinForms. This is a WPF application. Notify property change. Actually, we'll just do this. And we'll say if value is greater than -1, then we're going to get the NPC data. Actually, we'll uncomment. We'll see what it does here. Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I have to stop this. We're going to try this again. We'll see if this works. Nope. Okay, I probably have to make this two-way now. Oh, it closed the damn thing. This mode is two-way. Okay, so I'm gonna add, and then I click it, and it does not update it. If I add another one, it's not updating it. So now it's not working at all. Let's try this again. See what it actually does here. So you add an NPC, you click it, it doesn't do anything. When I add another one and I click this one, it's not updating. Oh! I commented out the entire thing here. What the hell is it? I don't like this mouse at all. I got this mouse. This is a Red Dragon because it was cheap. Central Forest. And it does weird stuff. So I'm gonna go back to my trusty Naga, which it's kind of starting to fail, but at least it doesn't double click shit. Okay, so here we go. On this one, I want to go into the view model. Here, no, in here. Okay, so let's just do this. Why not, right? Okay, so update. Okay, so index was out of range. So this is the problem with it having nothing in it. Oh. If the count is equal to 0, return this. Otherwise, it's trying to return -1. Yeah, I have like 1 megabit per second upload, so I haven't dropped frames, so that's a good thing. But yeah, my internet is not great out here. I live out in the middle of nowhere, little place called Saskatchewan. All right, so we have an issue where it's trying to pull the index, which is negative. So I'm going to actually bust this out. I'm gonna have to do all of these, I bet. And we're gonna have to do this. Oh, okay. Oh, good. The stream is actually good. Okay, well that makes me feel a little better. Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure I got scammed, but I tried one of those. If you see those Vortex mouse ads on Facebook, I paid one. It was 16 bucks, whatever. And it still hasn't shown up, and it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But it's coming from China, so it could take like 5-6 weeks probably. Okay, so if it's this, return string empty, and then we go here and we go. Okay, so if the NPC templates, no, if the selected NPC index is greater than 0, greater than -1, then we're going to return this. Otherwise, we're going to return string empty. Why don't we just do this? No, it's... Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so let's try this. Oops. I'm dumb. Greater than equal. You got a Turtle Beach mouse 4 years ago for 30 euros and you still have it. Yeah, I've had, well, this is a 2014 Razer Naga. I bought it when it came out, and I owned the original Naga before that, so from the time the original Naga came out to 2014, that's how long it lasted, right? Oh, what does the get mean? So, so the way WPF works is you have your, let's just stop this here. So you have your, I'm pointing at the screen again, that's such a bad habit. You got your window, like you would normally have a window for doing operations, adding buttons, all kinds of stuff. And let's say this text box here. So it highlighted this. So this text box is being bound to the selected NPC name value. So in my view model, my selected NPC name is this. So this, what it's doing is its value is being compared every time we notify that the UI is updated, or at least this property even. It will refresh the value. So it's going to, if I want to get the value, it's going to do this function. If I'm changing, so like if I type in this box, it's calling the set, and it's doing, that's where you put your checks in. So it's kind of like in WinForms where you would have an event, or as you type and you would click a button to save the value, it would update the value, the variable, or something like that, right? This does it automatically, so I don't all I have to do is assign the value, as it's called a property, in the code. And in this case we're doing It's called MVVM, Model View View Model. It's some form of it. It's not, I'm not actually doing a full implementation of it right now because I don't really need to. I'm just doing the bare minimum to get by. And I'm actually gonna turn this music down on my headset. Actually, I'll just turn my headset down. So what happens is every time I want to add a new thing. So let's say, oh, well, actually, I got to do something. So I'm gonna make a new grid here. Okay, I'm gonna actually make this the whole screen. So actually, no, I'm not. I will split it this way. No, that's not gonna be easy to view. We'll have to do it this way. Okay, just drag it up. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the layout, and then I'm going to add something in there temporarily. So this is my list box. And WPF uses a markup language called XAML, X-A-M-L, and it's basically XML code. That's all it really boils down to. So it's just a bunch of properties, and they have different settings on them. It tells it basically the layout of the thing, and then you can do what's called binding properties to values. And so your window has what's called a view model, which is the backbone of what it's displaying, right? Normally called the view, I just merge them into both. But so your view would basically describe what the properties that it's being displayed. So a text box with the value would have a property, and then it would just be updated or changed or whatever from the code, which is the view model. So as you add stuff, the view model would update the collection. Let's say you have a list of you have an address book. If you change an item, like a person's name, the view model would update the collection. The view notices that the collection has changed and refreshes itself. So the view has no idea what is in the view model. It just knows that it has to refresh stuff, right? The view model is the part that handles the underlying, any movement, sorting, all that kind of stuff that you would do with your data is all done on the view model. So it's completely detached from what's being displayed. The view just cares that it has to display something. The view model is what's serving the data. So that's kind of a more simplified explanation of what I'm doing. So, but what I'm going to do here is I want to take the bottom part of this. I want to make this smaller. And the way we're going to do that, since we're using a grid already, I'm going to add another a row in here. So I want a grid row definitions, and we're going to add a row definition called height is going to be star, because that's going to be the top one. So star fills anything, and you can do like 5 star is 50%. That's the way that works. So then we're gonna go row definition. So now the bottom one, I'm gonna make it 25, and 25 will make it 25 like pixel units, whatever it's displaying on the screen. So now by default, 0 is always set to either a grid or a column. So if you have 4 quadrants, 2 columns, 2 rows, and you just start adding stuff, it's all going to go at the top of row 0 and column 0. So you have to specify it. So what I want to do is I want to change the grid row to 0 for this, and I'm going to add I'm just going to add a text box here, because we're going to show you the other part. And I want to go grid column is 0, grid row is 1. There we go. So now, text is going to be sample. Alright, so I'll show you what this looks like. So this is the window. So I've got my text box down here with sample in it, and this is my list box at the top, which is still broken. I have to go and fix that. But anyways, so that's basically how you do how the XAML works with the layouts. And if I resize it, everything automatically scales. That's what's really nice about this. In WinForms, you can kind of do this, but it's a lot of math and stuff. This WPF just takes care of the whole thing for you. So, it's kind of nice. Okay, so let's go back to this. Indexes do, yes. It's C#. The background code is C#. So whatever C# does, that's what it does. So the the underlying actual, you know, the array starting at the 0 thing or 1, that's all done the way that C# does it. So what I want to do is I want to change this from a text box. I'm going to do a button. The content is going to be save. Yeah, we'll make it stretch. Let's add a margin to it. So left 5, top 0, right 5, bottom 0. So what this is going to do is it's going to keep the height full, but it's going to suck that title in. It doesn't really look right. Let's mess around with this here. So let's do 1. No, we'll just leave it full width. There you go. That's the really cool thing with WPF and your layouts. You can actually, like, I have this on my other screen, and as I'm typing the stuff, actually here, I'll show you what it looks like. So if I go like this, and I do, let's say I want to make this 30%. So I've changed it to 30%, 25 pixels, and it's just automatically refreshing. It's quite nice. I like it. Okay, so now we need to make this actually save our data, but actually first let's fix this bug. So it's actually trying to pull that it's throwing an error. So the index is 0. No. Do this. Okay. Okay, it does work. It's greater than 1 is the right way to do it. Alright, so now I need to change this. So we need to do all of this stuff in here. And then I want to go return if selected Npc index is greater than -1, I'm going to return this. And otherwise I'm going to return string empty. And let's just copy this, and we'll come in here, and we'll paste this in. We'll do this, return that. Otherwise we're going to return string empty, and I see I had 2 gets in here. Okay, and there's another one. Selected Npc index, and it's implemented by you already built in. WPF handles all the updating by itself. It is completely automated, which is why I prefer to use it over WinForms. WinForms still has its benefits, but the ease of doing like property bindings and stuff just to me outweighs all the extra coding involved. It looks like more because it's more spread out, but the amount of updates and like the UI runs on the main thread of the application. Everything else is multi-threaded, or it can be if you program it that way. So that's why you can do you can start new threads to do like web calls, and then when it returns you can have C# fire an event like you would normally in any other C# program, and it would do whatever you want with it. So like you can still do all of that C# stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's a little easier. Some things are more complicated, like it's not a simple way of programming, but hey, there it goes. See? That's how it works. Alright, so that's working. Alright, let's work on the save. The fun part is going to be, I forget how to do a, whatchamacallit? Save dialog box. Save NPC list. And we're going to make copy our add NPC. We're going to go save. Save. Like that. So this is now going to be bound to this. It's possible to do networking stuff with WPF. Oh wait, not with WPF directly. It's, you would do it in the view model. So you would do it in your actual C# code. So like I don't actually have anything substantial in here for code yet. It's mostly just classes and properties I'm working with, which is normal. But let's see, closest thing I've got is like this. So we have a link expression where it's doing some programming and stuff like that in the background. So if you wanted to do like well, here, give me a sec. I'll show you my other project. So this is my program that we wrote for Shadow the Avatar, and this is called Pseudosys. So this here, this is actually the damage meter for the game that runs in the program. Public find debug. I'll just run a copy for you here. I'll show you how it actually works. So we have a server that we query. Portalarium, the guys who make the game, they have logs, and they log all the events of enemy deaths, player deaths, item sales to vendors, what else is there? Player kills, monster kills, item sales, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all we're really tracking. All the other stuff is we're manually doing it inside the program. Anyways, so what this does is this program, this is a WPF application. It uses, accesses our API that we wrote on, it's actually a Linux.NET Core application, so it's just the server, a little console that sits on the server. And so like when I click validate, it's going out on the internet, checking with our API with the token that we have typed, and telling us if it's valid or not. If I do monster kill alert, and I load like skeletons, and I toggle it, okay, so there's a sound. This is kills from our API. So it is completely requesting stuff over the network, and when stuff comes back, like this will just, as long as I toggle it, it'll just constantly play this Pop Goes the Weasel song. So stuff like that. And then we have things like the damage meter. So if I open up the overlay window, I can change the transparency of it here. I have like a artifact loot tracker, how many crown of the obsidians you get, and how much gold you loot. And it has a little toggle thing here. You have a reset. You can minimize it and bring it back. Like, it's got all this stuff in it. This is all client side. So this, we're reading the logs that the game itself writes, and we're checking for damaged things and parsing it, right? Which is what this is. So let's go ahead and close this. So this here is the damage. Every time an event comes in, this processes it, checks what kind of event it is, and then it will add it to the list, right? So yes, you can do networking stuff. It's completely possible to do like chat clients and everything with it, because it's all C#. It all works the same way as C#, so kind of cool. This will not be running networking stuff on itself, but when we get into the Unity one, it will have a depending on how you write it, you could have the player data stored locally, or maybe I'll make it so that it saves it on a remote database that could be on a website, and that way your channel's top 10 list and all that stuff could be stored on the site. Yeah, definitely check it out. If you want to, if you go onto Discord, I'll actually I'll see if I can invite copy. I'll give you this. So that is the C# server. No, you cannot use WPF apps in Unity. It is and in fact you can't even run them on Linux. Well, you can. I hear apparently there's frameworks that let you do it, but it's really complicated to get it running on Linux. I think even Mac has some issues, but WPF is Windows Presentation Foundation, so it is a Windows operating system thing. It's Metro, so it's like this whole start menu system. This is all WPF. So Windows is their foundation of how they make their operating system. So that's why it doesn't work with other stuff very nicely. However, people are trying to make a compatibility or compilable version for Linux and Mac. They just haven't been very successful. They're not very good. So there's a couple big ones, but I haven't had any luck with them. So I will show you how to do button. So here's how you would do it in WinForms. You would have like a button. B is equal to new button, right? And you would say button click, and then you would add a function for it, right? So this function would be your button click. That's exactly how it works in WinForms. You can totally do that. There's nothing wrong with that. However, this is how you do it in WPF. So I have a relay command. So relay command is just a fancy thing, and it's event handler that I can assign a function to, that I can just get a property, call it a relay command, which implements this I command, pointing at the screen again, and I can basically attach whatever function I assign a relay command to a button or a click event in a list box or a drop down box, a click in a combo box or something like that. You can just assign it to anything, and you do that with binding. So I have a save NPC relay command here. So if I come into my XAML and I have my button, and I say, let's just actually make this a little easier to read. And I go the command, and then you do these squiggly brackets, binding, and then I type S. I have my save NPC is in there, right? So now, if I do this, message box, show, okay, we'll just do something graphical here. Hey, King of Gods. All right, so here's how it works. So all I did is this. So I got my function that I call, the relay command, and I told this to bind to that command, right? And all I do is I click the button. That's how easy it is. Now the cool thing is that relay command, since it's a class, it can just be reused over and over again, and I can include that in any view model, and I only write that code once, and then I just write my function for the command, and I bind it. I can have, I can make it a public command, or it is a public command, but I could be in another view model and have a reference to that, the original view model, and I can call that function from another view model. So, yeah, it's really, really cool. It can get really handy. I actually do that kind of stuff when in the DPS meter, because the DPS meter has the overlay, but the main window also has all the damage meter stuff in it. So it's a mirror copy, but different styling. So the overlay that's supposed to sit on top of your game screen, it just sits there. You can move it around and control it like a normal window. But it's pulling, both screens are pulling from the same view model. The view is just displaying it differently. But that's the real view model, MVVM way that you're supposed to use it. It's just, it's really powerful. Like rather than in WinForms, you would have to duplicate your code and you'd have to make 2 separate instances, or you would have to change the structure of your code to have a class that you would instantiate and have a reference to the other form and do, yeah. It can get kind of complex. But okay, so now we have our OK button. Let's go ahead and write our save command. So let's see here. Save file dialog. Save npc is equal to save file dialog. Actually, let's go. Oh. Okay, so you do have to do this. So I have to go save npc show dialog. We'll say the result is this, and if the result is equal to you know what, I'm gonna have to look this one up because I forget how the dialog works on here. Save file dialog feature. No, I want Microsoft. Okay, so you get your create it, and then you have the dialog. Okay, so it's dialog result okay, so that's the class that I'm looking for. Okay, so that is not working, so it's different. So this is WinForms. Windows Forms. Let's okay. Really interesting. Permission access is that's a enumerator. Oh. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Figure out why. Okay, there we go. Has the interface for open file. Select a path. So they use an interface for it. This is what I want. Okay, so it doesn't have a return value apparently. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. Close. Okay, so it doesn't return that, so then we go, okay, so var I just forgot what it was. File name. Okay, so then what I want to do is file, write all text, the path is path, and then the contents is JSON convert, serialize the object of NPC templates. Okay, so now it actually doesn't return anything. It's just true or a false. So I mean, I could do this. Okay. Let me do that. I mean, environment, special folder, my documents. This is a string. Alright. What? What? What the heck? Oh, I didn't change this. That's why it was firing. I was like, did I click save, why is it, or add, why is it saving? Yeah, so we do this. Okay, so we're going to save. Okay, we get in the documents, test. Okay, so we want to do, we want to set the type. So let's just go in here. Test.json. Alright, so it's saving the JSON now, so we're doing good. Alright, so we'll delete that. So, I guess what we need to do is change the properties. Filter. I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure it uses the default extension. See what that, if that exists. Yeah. Oops. Let's see if that works. Nope. Okay, so it doesn't work. Let's see how this works here. Save is this filter. Okay, so separated with pipes. Alright, so we go filter is going to be JSON, like that. There we go. So let's try, if I go test, my save, did it add, yep, it added a JSON. Okay, cool. Done. Okay, so let's do the loading part. No. There we go. Okay. This here is my button. So I want to go and I want a void open NPC list. Open NPC is going to be new open file dialog. Filter. Text JSON. JSON. Initial directory is environment. Special folder. My documents. String. Okay. And let's make this not ugly. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I can still read. Okay. So there's our dialog. So then we're going to go open NPC show dialog. And we'll go if this is true. It's just gonna, yeah, it's just a bool. Okay, so if it saves, the path is gonna be where we're doing it. So var path is gonna be open path. Oops. open npc file name. I'm going to go read all text path, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go npc templates is equal to JSON convert deserialize into a npc list. Okay, I'm gonna have to do an intermediate. Template data. Okay, so let's do npc list, and then I want to go as a new observable collection of template data npc templates. Okay, so let's go see if we can do this. Oh, I have to find the command. I'll have to create the actual command now. So let's just copy the save one. And I want to go open npc list. Oh. Like that. Oh, is YouTube doing its thing again? Yep. So annoying. Okay, this here. And then what we'll do is we bind this item. Command is binding open npc. So now this should fire that command. Oh. Oops. I copied the wrong part. There we go. Forgot the other one. Alright. So, what we're going to do is open npc list. Okay, we got one window. The document. I've got an items one in there, so let's just ignore that one. Let's go ahead and add one. I'm going to say 1. Okay, so this is, I still have to fix that. Okay. I'm going to save as npc. Okay, so now let's close this. We're going to open it. Alright, so it cannot serialize it into this because it requires an object. Okay, so I can't do this. I have to go list of npc template. Like that. Open NPCs. Alright, no problem. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Name of... Put in NPCs, and we open. Ah, that's the wrong one. Okay, I want NPC names. There we go. Okay, so let's fix this indexing thing. Let's just not organize it first. Okay, so for some reason it's now -1. When you click off of it, does it go to 0? Okay, so let's go into here. Let's do a check here, because that might be an issue. I might have to come up with a different way to do this. Okay, so we got that one. And if I go here, no it doesn't. So if I add, okay, change the update. Now I have, yes it did. When I lost the focus, if value is equal to, no. Okay, so that's not going to work. I have to do the selected value itself. Or I set the index to the NPC ID. Would that work? I can either store the selected NPC itself and modify and update it, or I can just store, like, try to store the value of the ID, but if you change the ID then it won't do it. So that's not going to work. So probably the best way is to store the currently selected item in the list and then modify that directly. Oh, that's going to be annoying. Okay, I am going to have some lunch. It is lunchtime. It's actually almost 1 o'clock, and yeah, I'll try and get some more work done on this. So far we are on, let's go ahead and pull up our, since this is part 2, layout for the editor. This is done. we have loading the NPC and saving the NPC. Alright. We're gonna actually, you know what, we're gonna leave this on, let's add a thing in here. Bugs. So the bug is selected NPC storage for editing changes to -1 when you change focus to text box versus list box. Alright, just so we remember what we're doing next time. So, alright, thanks for watching, everyone. I will be back. I might do a little bit later on. I might stream a little bit after lunch here, but we'll see. And I promise, I'm trying my best not to do any coding at all, so it's all captured here. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, do the Twitch thing for all the viewers on Twitch that are watching this. Just send me a follow. I think I'm 7 followers away from getting the amazing affiliate thing. But anyways, we will talk to you